इन गोवा बातमीपत्रात आपलं पुन्हा एकदा स्वागत। लेखक डॉक्टर रामचंद्र सरदेसाई यांच्या इव्होल्यूशन मिथ्स अँड बिलीफ्स या पुस्तकाचे मंत्री सुभाष शिरोडकर यांच्या हस्ते प्रकाशन करण्यात आले। जगातील इतर वंशांसाठी गोवन वंशाच्या उत्क्रांतीचे स्थान या विषयीचे भाष्य या पुस्तकात केलेले आहे। या विषयावर आजपर्यंत कोणीही अभ्यास केला नव्हता असे उपस्थितांनी सांगितले।
And in anatomy dissection hall, anatomy is called as surgery of dead bodies. So surgeons of dead bodies are anatomists. Sorry, Dr. Desai, but it's a fact. So if you want to be good surgeon, you have to learn surgery on dead bodies. You train your hands, you master your skills in department of anatomy. First 6 months. It's 1.5 years, first 6 months. In anatomy hall, there were steel tables, and that dissection is divided into 3 parts: arms, torso, and head, face and neck. So some people are given only head, cut heads, which you have to dissect up to the brain and learn. You have to learn about vessels, nerves, bones, muscles, so many things. Some people are given middle part. One table is given left hand, one table is given right hand, one table is given left leg, one table is given right leg. So it's all dissection. It's nice. Now that examination of dissection parts is the biggest problem when you face oral examination. Because once the body is formalized, then all parts look white or shades of yellow. There is nothing called as artery is red, vein is blue, nerve is without any color. All is colorless. You have to identify those structures and you have to know how they go. Like one nerve comes from here, it takes a turn, goes back, again comes here, divides into 5 branches. You have to see all those 5 branches. And to train you to dissect and identify parts, there are professors. Everybody comes and helps you. We have one professor called Dr. Mainkar, if you remember. Then we had Dr. Mrs. Usha Nigadiye, who recently expired. Then we had Dr. Mrs. Nagarsekar. Dr. Mrs. Nagarsekar. So all these people were in anatomy helping us. Each one we had Dr. Jain, who was assistant professor at that time, and we were not allowed to put gloves, so we had to dissect, touch fats, and our hands would smell. So in first month, our batch 3 students left medicine because of anatomy. Takes a tough mind to go through that. Now all professors and Dr. Desai apart. Why? Because everybody would shout at us. Everybody would tell us our mistakes. Everybody would say you will never pass. Everybody you will say, why have you come here if you cannot do this? This man never said no. Even for examination, everyone prayed that Dr. Desai should be the examiners. Because what they used to do, or they still must be doing, sir, they keep a part and they have long wire or forceps. They just lift one thing and you have to identify. They are sitting this side, you are sitting that side. He just lifts something or puts that into some muscle and you have to identify, name the muscle, tell where it is inserted, how it goes, and then the questions go on. So if one mistake is made, your marks are gone. He shifts to the other part. Dr. Desai never did that. If he marked one thing and the student sitting in front was wrong, he would laugh. Just that tremor. So student would know I am wrong. Then he would say something else. He would still give a bigger laugh. And then again he would point the same thing. Then student would realize that I was wrong. He would stay and then he would say, very good, correct. so that next examiner who was on the next table would hear only very good, correct. He never ever failed anybody, correct sir? Never. All the students who went or appeared before him, whether in theory or in practical, have passed. He has never failed. I think that is what he has got, and he has written a book. Punyai म्हणता पळय ती. Rather than disgusting somebody, you encourage somebody to achieve his mission of life is something great. It's a God-given gift. And whilst doing that, he has done this job. Now there are certain interesting observations I'll tell you, which are now the second part. This is for doctors. This is for doctors. Palmaris longus muscle in Goans, vestigial organs, evolutionary study of psoas minor muscle. I do not know where these muscles are. I have forgotten where these muscles are. So it is as Hebrew as it will be to you, that it is to me now. But the last chapter is very interesting. See, last chapter I have marked. Breastfeeding in old races. We never know this. In general, breastfeeding was kept for 4 to 5 years. And then he says, these are facts, huh? Mr. Ploss has informed that in the tribes from Australia, Eskimos and Indians of North America, breastfeeding continues for 12 to 14 years. See, everybody, is it? How is it possible? But this is the knowledge which he gives. Sacrifice of women after death of husband. We know without sati. Is there something beyond? Yes. Women of Dani class of Papua, after death of husband, were cutting the fingers of hand even today. Fingers are cut. Old races, Fijians, were cutting toes of foot. Polynesians were removing teeth. Australians were cutting the skin. Neocoldian were.
Most of us wanted to answer Viva with sir only. I'm sure Dr. Sapilko, Dr. Dargadkar, all will agree with me, because the way the anatomy was recollected from students was a totally a different technology, different methodology. And sir, people today, when they join medical profession, the students always have a myth that it is very tough to do MBBS. And their parents have a belief that my child will go through this stress. So these myths and beliefs is a very huge concept in our society. And a master in anatomy like you has written a book on myths and beliefs of evolution. I was listening to Dr. Ajay sir. He has been telling us what is the content of the book. It is really a high scientific content, and it is also the observational power of our Sir Sardesai, which is being depicted in this book. Sir, it is very difficult to write and compile things at this age, because as what WHO says, once you are above 80, you are super senior citizen. And for a super senior citizen to collect all this data and put it in a book form, I must congratulate you today for coming out with such a wonderful book, and you have been giving it to our students. Our students will like it, and I promise you that this book will find the central place in Goa Medical College library, so that everybody gets to read this book. I would be little more greedy and ask Sandeep to donate some copies to Goa Medical College library, because evolution is one science that we all have gone through, and we are evolving every day. And we would like to know your perception of evolution. As regards your method of teaching, writing, we all know you are the most versatile anatomist that we ever saw in our career. You have been a guiding force, mentor for number of students, and today we all owe to you a wonderful tribute. Sir, I am your student. I don't know whether you remember me, because when we joined first MBBS from 12th standard, a 12th standard is considered like a small pond, you know. We used to swim in our college. It was a very small college. I also got first rank in that college, but when I came to Goa Medical College, I found that I was thrown in an ocean. And then you find the subject matter syllabus is also very vast. There is nothing called a single book. Somebody says you read Gray's Anatomy. Somebody says you read Cunningham. But finally, sir, we passed by using a handbook of anatomy and your lectures. So this is what happens when you join a medical college, and you have been always a guiding force. I am thankful to you for inviting me today.
Dr. Sardesai is a very fatherly figure to me. My first interaction with him was somewhere in the year 1997, and I just thought of starting Montpellier College. And then a friend of mine suggested that Dr. Sardesai will be a good hand for you, particularly to handle the subject of anatomy. No doubt I did not speak with him for his lectures, but a message that I got from my students, the students of first year particularly, they used to come and say, sir, इतलो बरो PhD टीचरान प्रोफेसरान का हाडला, ताजी एक स्टुडंट को 2 लेक्चर जाता रेपाची. I think this was the reading of the students. Of course, I am not a student of medicine and all that, but then I tell you the book that Doctor has presented to the society. Compare Dr. Ajay well. No doubt he is a good speaker, he is a good orator, he is also a good comparer. But then the strength of this book, that what I realized, is Dr. वैद्यानंद सर आमकां एनाटॉमी ऑपरेशन थिएटर जे आसा तें उबी करून दाखयलें. इतली ह्या बुकाची स्ट्रेंथ आसा. Normally, we Indians and particularly we Goans also, we are not much for documentation. Maybe that those days the equipments and amenities were not available to us. And as a result, we find that documentation in various sectors of life are quite few. But I would respect and would say hats off to Dr. Ramchandra Desai, that right from day one when he stepped in the class in Goa Medical College, right from that day he had in his mind that whatever I am going to read, whatever I am going to preach to the students, I should jot it down somewhere. And I think this is a culmination of that. This is a culmination of all those 36 papers, what he presented throughout his entire span of life. And I would say teaching for 60 years, आमच्या आईच्या पद्धतीने आम्ही सूट बूट घालतात, कपडे घालतात, पण ऋषीतील व्यक्तिमत्व जे आसा पळय ते आमच्या मुखारांच आसा. जशें आमी आमच्या इतिहासात वाचताले की अमुक वशिष्ठ ऋषी, विश्वामित्र ऋषी, आय वूड वॉट आय शुड से एडमायरिंग ऑन दोज लाइन्स ओनली. आमचो ड्रेस कोड वेगळो आसूं पूण 60 years टू डू द टीचिंग वर्क. कितक्या भुरग्यांक तांणी ट्रेनिंग दिली आसतली, कितले भुरग्यांक एज्युकेट केले, कितले डॉक्टर्स जावले. एटलीस्ट टू माय इंस्टिट्यूट I would say almost 800 doctors in homeopathy have passed out in the last almost 20 years. Yeah, 800 doctors आज गोयच्या वेगळ्या वेगळ्या एस्टॅब्लिशमेंटांनी सेवा करतात. On this beautiful occasion, Dr. Sardesai is more than 80.
Yes.
More than 80. But I, किती वेळा असं द्वेष मत्सर करत असतो. Such a beautiful life and such a beautiful willpower. ना हांव हे करतलो, हांव हे मेळयतलो, हांवें जगात घेतलो किंवा संवसारात घेतलो. That willpower is, I would say, to be admired. आयच्या दिसाच्या निमित्तान हें सोबीत पुस्तक रिलीज करपाचें म्हज्या हातीन is a great honor to me. I'm a small man. I may be minister with the blessing of people, but I'm a small man. But still, to think of me out of those all 12 people, I would never remember, forget this. This was a big event for me in my life.